Fellas, how in the hell are we doing here today? Sorry it's been a little bit, okay? Your boy has been degenerately grinding Marvel Rivals, but today we're going to be finishing off our end of the year / beginning of the year lists with a top 10 most anticipated games of 2025 list. Now, I was supposed to have these out in December. We're a little bit late on them by now, but for this list in general, none of these games have came out yet, so we're still ahead of the curve. And originally, this list was going to just be a top 5 to line up with our last 2 we just made, but when I was looking at everything we have upcoming, next year is going to be massive. There was actually no way I could narrow this down to just 5, but that's not a bad thing anyways. Bigger lists equals better list, right? Okay, let's not drag this thing on anymore. Let's just jump straight into it here. Our top 10 most anticipated games of 2025. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, some of you might be confused saying, Lunar, what's going on here? This game came out in 2024. And you would be correct, but I personally do not have a PlayStation, so I had to wait. Luckily, I've had Marvel Rivals to get my superhero fix, but finally on January 30th, 2025, we will be getting a PC port for Marvel Spider-Man 2. This game is the sequel to the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man and 2020 Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales games. This third action-adventure installment follows both Peter Parker and Miles Morales as they balance their responsibilities as the protectors of New York. They also introduced Kraven the Hunter and Venom as lead antagonists, and I think most people were immediately sold on this game the moment they saw the trailer. I know this game's been out for a while now, but I honestly haven't really seen anything about it besides just random bits of gameplay here and there. So I'm excited to finally get in here and check things out because I had a lot of fun with the last one. Next up at number 9, we have Killing Floor 3. This game still doesn't have an exact release date, it's just scheduled for early 2025. But the early part really has me hopeful that even if they miss that time frame, they still might be able to get it out later this year. Killing Floor 3 is a new installment to the Killing Floor series, which is an action horror story game developed by Tripwire Interactive. The story of the new game follows a rebel group named Nightfall in the year 2091 as they fight armies of bioengineered monsters called Zeds. Now, I'll be completely honest, I haven't played any of the other Killing Floor games at all. I just saw the announcement trailer they put out and it got me pretty intrigued. This looks like a great PvE multiplayer experience that I will be checking out probably by myself, but that's okay. Next at number 8, we have Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is an upcoming multiplayer extraction adventure game developed by Embark Studios with an expected release date of 2025. This game actually had an open beta test recently to showcase / test the game, and it honestly looks pretty good so far. This game is played in a post-apocalyptic future where robots have driven mankind deep underground. Your job as a raider will be to scavenge for resources across the world while fighting off other players and robots called Arcs. I'm not sure if I'll really dump like endless time into grinding this, but the PvPvE element in this game really seems interesting to me, depending on how they frame it all and how it all plays out. Next at number 7, we have Avowed. Now, for those of you who are really OG to the channel, you might remember from 2024's list that Avowed was on that too, but was unfortunately never able to release that year. In my last most anticipated list, I was kind of dunking on it because it looked like garbage at the time, but anything we've seen of the game since then actually looks really good, and I'm still genuinely curious how this game's gonna play. Avowed is a brand new action-adventure RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment, and it's scheduled for release on February 18th, 2025. In this game, players assume the role of an envoy from the Adir Empire, who is assigned to the Living Lands to investigate a mysterious plague known as the Dream Scourge. This game was originally slated to be Obsidian's take on Bethesda's Skyrim, but as development progressed, they shifted away from that to make it more akin to Obsidian's previous RPG games, with a heavier focus and emphasis on story and characters. I originally signed on to the idea of an Obsidian Skyrim game, but from the looks of things, it still doesn't feel like they're straying too far from that original idea. And at this point, the game has been circling the gaming space for a few years now, and I've been excited for it for a while, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Next up at number 6, we have Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is a brand new Souls-like action RPG developed by Len Z, which is a dev team based out of China. It still doesn't have a set release date, but it is planned to release sometime in 2025. Now, I'm a very simple guy, folks. You only really need 2 words to get me going: new and Souls-like, and I mean, there's no better feeling. In case you're not a fan of the channel, your boy loves Souls-likes around here, okay? I play pretty much any and all of them I'm able to get my hands on, and they're really great content for the channel. I like making the boss tier list videos, and this will be a great game to practice and get better on some lists. So yeah, we're definitely hyped for this guy to drop. Next up at our top number 5 most anticipated games, we have Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War E-Day is a new third-person action-adventure game developed by the Coalition and scheduled for release in sometime 2025. This game will be the 6th installment to the Gears of War story, but E-Day is actually set 14 years before the events of the first Gears of War. This new game will follow Marcus and Dom as they return home from war, where they have to face a new emerging enemy, the Horde. For those of you who don't know, the original Gears of War just kind of kicks off with things knee-deep in the trenches in a battle with the Horde that's been going on for however long already. So this actually sounds really interesting to go back even further than that to see how this whole thing even started. Gears of War probably isn't as popular nowadays, mainly because their last game was in 2019, but for me and a lot of OG gamers out there, Gears of War is a core memory when it comes to gaming. This, Halo, and COD are like the holy trinity of Xbox and Xbox 360 games. So long story short, yes, I will 1000% be checking this out and I'm really excited for it. Next at our top number 4 most anticipated game, we have Borderlands 4. I promise I didn't just put it in the 4th spot because it's the 4th installment. It just so happened to end up like that. Borderlands 4 is a new action-adventure looter shooter developed by Gearbox Software, and it has a projected release date of sometime in 2025. Now, for those of you who have never played Borderlands, I know they just had a movie come out recently, and do not let the movie tarnish your image of this game, because the game itself is actually fantastic. Borderlands has been around since 2009, and Gearbox defines it as the definitive looter shooter experience. Well, what is a looter shooter game? You shoot stuff, you loot stuff, it's really that simple. What really makes the experience unique is procedurally generated weapons and equipment, so if you grind random drops, you can get some really insane gear to use for your playthrough. Destiny is another great example of this concept, except they structure their missions and gameplay experience a bit differently. Borderlands is a completely PvE experience that plays a lot more linear, but they're both insanely fun in their own right, and they have the same sort of psychological effect you get from gambling, per se. You're just re-rolling these missions, waiting for that jackpot to hit of a legendary gun or piece of armor. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I don't know, but it has me hooked. And they know it too. Next at our top number 3 most anticipated game, we have the first Berserker Kaizen. It might seem a little weird that I didn't have both of the Souls-like games next to each other on the list, but I've known about this game for longer, so it's had more time to garner hype in my mind. And this game has also had like 1 or maybe 2 open betas on PlayStation, but I wasn't even able to play it. So that's just extra fuel to the fire. I'm like, gosh, oh, this game's so cool, it's already kind of out, but I'm not able to play it all. Like, it's just building all this hype. First Berserker Kaizen is another brand new Souls-like action RPG developed by Neopal and set for release sometime in 2025. The story follows Kaizen, the great general of the Palos Empire, who overcomes death and sets out to reveal the events that led to his downfall and seek vengeance on those who brought it upon him. As I've already mentioned, they had an open beta, so we've already seen some gameplay from it, and I've gotta say, it looks pretty dang good. I don't know which of the Souls-likes on the list will come out first, but they'll both be getting reviews and boss tier list videos, so be on the lookout for that. These are also just the games that I know of. We might get some other smaller Souls-likes to come out too, so we'll see how that goes. Next at our top number 2 most anticipated game, we have GTA 6. Now this might surprise you, and it also might not surprise you. It might surprise you that it's not number 1, and it might not surprise you because I think this is one of everybody's most anticipated games. Now this game needs zero introduction, but just in case, GTA 6 is a brand new open world action adventure developed by Rockstar Studios, with a projected release date of late 2025. Grand Theft Auto is easily one of the biggest games in the entire world, and it's been over 10 years since the last installment. Even people who don't play video games know of GTA because of all the stealing, killing, and strip clubs, you know what I'm saying? GTA has hands down one of the most fun and unique multiplayer experiences where you're essentially just role-playing a character doing stuff in the city. Our number 1 spot is gonna put up a tough fight, but if GTA is done right and it releases in a good state, it might comfortably win Game of the Year by a million miles. Because whenever this game hits the market, it's going to set the world on fire from sheer popularity. Alrighty folks, here we are. We have finally made it to our top number 1 most anticipated game of 2025. Now I know most people are probably dying for GTA at this point, and yeah, I'm sure that game will be great, but what I really can't wait for, and what I'm most excited for in 2025 is Doom: The Dark Ages. Fellas. Let me just tell you right here that Doom Eternal is one of the greatest games ever made. It is easily in my top 10 all-time list for sure, hands down, no questions asked, all right? Now, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, two completely different games. Doom 2016 is fun, but Doom Eternal is sex. I have played through that game on Nightmare difficulty easily 3 or 4 different times by now. Me and B Wood, our good friend of the channel, love it so much that we'll just randomly be sitting there one day like, haven't played Doom in a while, let me just go make sure I still got it. And then we'll just go run through the whole thing real quick. This was actually the game that got me into playing roguelikes too, even though it's not a roguelike itself. The lightning fast gameplay was something I found myself itching for after having played the ever-living piss out of Doom Eternal. I know I'm rambling here, folks. I know I'm just saying a lot of random stuff that has nothing to do with Doom the Dark Ages, but long story short, I love this game. And when I saw the announcement of a new installment to the franchise, I damn near fainted. Doom the Dark Ages is a brand new first-person action shooter developed by ID Software with a planned release date of sometime in 2025. This is another prequel game set in a techno-medieval world before the events of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. I think this is supposed to act as an origin story to the Doomslayer to see how he becomes the one-man hell-killing machine he is today. We'll mention right out of the gate, from what we've seen in the trailers, the gameplay for the new Doom doesn't necessarily look as fast-paced as it was in Eternal. It almost seems like a balance between 2016 and Eternal. We'll obviously just have to get in there and see for ourselves, but overall, it looks really fun. It looks like there's a lot of new weapons and things to use, and I'm extremely excited. I know it's not really a Souls-like game, but we'll probably try doing some sort of boss or enemy tier list for this too, because it could be fun, and I'm going to be playing a lot of this anyways. And with that being said, folks, I think— Wait, just hold on a second. Everybody just pause. The video is not over. Hold on, sit back down. All right, listen, this script, I wrote this before the 2024 Game Awards. At the 2024 Game Awards, they announced so many bangers that it just threw this entire list completely out of whack, okay? So we have our top 10 list already made, but I've got like another damn near 10 games that I want to add to it too, all right? We're not gonna sit here and change up the list, but real quick, I just want to go through these games that I saw at the Game Awards that I'm extremely excited for and will also be playing this year. So be on the lookout for these. Starting out with Rematch. Looks like an extremely simple game, but at its core, it looks like Rocket League without the cars. You know what I'm saying? You're in this big, scenic soccer field that's encased by walls, and you can use the walls to play off of. It actually looks pretty interesting, not gonna lie. Your boy's not a big fan of FIFA, but this looks completely different with the first-person element and stuff. Like, I'm actually extremely excited to check this out, and your boy will be playing it. Next up, we have Elden Ring Night Rain. Okay, holy, what are we talking about? We're getting a new Elden Ring game? I made a video about this like immediately after the Game Awards because I was so excited, and your boy still is, but this is absolutely insane, okay? This is gonna be a completely different standalone Elden Ring project. It's not gonna be a new game per se. It almost sounds like an Elden Ring roguelike of sorts. You're just gonna drop into a map with friends if you want to, and then you fight through a procedurally generated level with a mix of different enemies and bosses from different From Software games. I mean, we're seeing the Nameless King. Split Fiction is from the same dev team that made It Takes Two, and that's easily one of the greatest cooperative multiplayer games that has ever been released. And this looks right on par with that, so I'm extremely excited to see what's going on. We also have Stage Fright. This is from a different dev team, but it looks like the same kind of premise as Split Fiction, where it's like a cooperative multiplayer experience. You both see each other's screens, and you're trying to help each other progress through the map, which is going to be really fun. Me and Bimo are going to hop in those, play through them, and it's going to be great content for the channel. All right, with that being said, I think we are actually done now, folks. If you've made it this far into the video, comment down below and let me know if there's any other games that I didn't talk about that you're really excited for, because I would love some new ideas for more things to play this coming year. In 2024, I tried to post at least one review a month, but for 2025, I'm gonna try to bump that up to 2 or 3 a month. So we're gonna need a lot of games to play. If you enjoyed today's video, please help yourself to some of that like button down there, okay? And if you're feeling generous, why not click that old subscribe button too? They're both free. You know, I'm just giving them out. You can take it if you want. You can click a like, you can take a sub, why not? You would make every wildest Bound Lunar dream come true. So yeah, hook a brother up. But alrighty folks, take it easy. Have yourself a good one. This has been Lunar, and welcome to Bound.